Welcome back to Small Talk with Stacy. Thank you if you are a returning guest, and welcome if you have just stumbled across me or someone has shared my page with you. I am glad to have you. So this page usually it just consists of small talk, random bursts of thoughts of random, nothing in particular, but things that we all think about and maybe not talk about, or maybe some, and hopefully some new information that I can share and make your life better, hopefully, on any level, personal, professional, any level. So, a friend of mine uh, was talking about his love life. And actually, I have several male friends that talk about their love lives. And um, they struggle just as much as we do. And so, I often wonder, what is it that's missing between the two of us? We think men are not putting in any effort, and men think we're crazy. Some of that may be true. But generally speaking, we all are searching for the same thing. And so, in trying to get out of him, like, what is he exactly looking for? People are just settling for peace, someone to get along with in the moment and just see how long that moment lasts. And in wondering, like, well, as a man, what do you look for? What is it that you want specifically? Give me a characteristic. I wasn't given any. It was a lot of dialogue around what he wanted, what he thought. None of it was cohesive. None of it was something that I think a relationship could be built on. And I don't want to say in case he's looking at this video, but so it made me start thinking about Ruth. So we've heard about the Proverbs 31 woman who, in my opinion, works herself to death, spreads herself thin. She's working for a family. She's doing this and taking care of everyone. Not once does it say she takes care of herself. Where's the balance? But yes, we're supposed to be productive. We're supposed to take care of our families. And, just make sure that we respect our husbands and things like that. So we already know that. But when we talk about gaining or being found by a husband, Ruth, the story of Ruth, Naomi and Ruth is really how it's presented. Well, actually, Naomi, Boaz, Ruth. That's the book of Ruth. It's about her. But I can attest to the fact that Boaz got most of the shine. Naomi got secondary kind of mention. And Ruth is like, oh, she was just there. They helped her get a husband. They set her up, helped her position herself, and she lived happily ever after. And that actually is not true. Well, let me back up. Those events did happen. But her comeuppance had nothing to do primarily with these other people. They don't talk about who she was as a woman, her character, her heart. No one talks about that. Or they don't harp on that. They talk about, oh, you want a Boaz. But the point is, Boaz was kind. He was kind to her. But do we want someone who's kind to us? Yes. But he ended up dying. They didn't have a long marriage. I'll just say that. They didn't have a long marriage. So do we want to get married and get widowed? Right? No, we don't. We do not. We do not. We do not. So why are we yelling we want a Boaz? Someone who gives us a chance. Someone who provides for us. Yes, we do. But she was of the heart space she had room to receive what he was giving her. So the story starts with, and I have some notes. So if I look down, just know I'm looking at that. So the story goes that Ruth was from the land of Moab, and Naomi and her husband left where they were living in Bethlehem her husband, her two sons, because of an extreme famine. When they got to Moab, um, she ended up losing her. Naomi lost her husband. Very sad situation. Lost her husband. So now she still feels like she has these two sons who can take care of her. But ended up losing both of her sons. So now she had no one. Now she had no one. And the sons had married Ruth and a woman named Orpah. Naomi, in her wisdom, encouraged her two daughter-in-laws to leave, go back to their families, their parents, their siblings, where they will be provided for, be taken care of. And they didn't want to leave because now, she was their family. She was their mother-in-law, mother figure. They wanted to stay. They felt bad leaving her uncovered. And so in this book, the heaviness of the necessity for a husband is really present, which kind of leads to today how it is really heavy for a lot of us women to want husbands and wait on doing things and experiencing things in our lives because we want to do it with a husband. It's almost a handicap and a crutch, a mental handicap, or an emotional, I should say, handicap and a crutch to move on and to do things in life. And when we do, we're called too independent, but that's another video. So she persisted again. She still encouraged them. Orpah did leave. There's nothing wrong with that. She knew that there would be a struggle and there would be a great chance that they would be maybe not treated so well by the people in that land or anywhere. And so she left. Ruth stayed. And she offered to go work in the fields and to accept the leftovers of people who gleaned in the field. Whatever they left behind, whatever fell to the ground, she'd gather it and bring it back for them so they'd have something to eat. That field happened to have been Boaz's field. And so when she was there, she was working, gleaning, picking up things from sun up to sundown, taking minimal breaks. And she was noticed by Boaz because she did go and work in that field at the wise counsel of Naomi. So that's where Naomi comes in. She had given her wise counsel. Go to him. He's wealthy. He was also a family member because he was Naomi's deceased husband's family member. So, they're all family. And so she did, under her advisement, she did do this. But when she got there, she worked hard. And she was willing to sacrifice and take crumbs, figuratively speaking, and I'm probably literally speaking, just so that they could make it and to help support she and Naomi. He took notice of her hard work and had asked someone about her. And the guy told him how well she worked and things like that, and had identified that she was with Naomi. So of course he knew of his family members passing, Naomi's husband and sons, and thought that it was nice of her to stay and help this elderly woman. So he offered her the opportunity to not take up scraps, but kind of almost oversee the field and work alongside the women that were already there and gather up as much as she could. She could glean her own and take the leftovers. And had also instructed the men to not bother her. She is not for you. Leave her alone. Let her be safe. Let her be provided for. And she did. She did that and went to work. And again, under Naomi's counsel, she told her to go to him, let him work, go to this threshing floor. After he's done all of that work, eaten the biggest meal ever, you go and lay at his feet. She did just that. When he woke up, she was there, which is a sign of being a servant. So that's another thing. She was loyal to Naomi. She was a hard worker. She was devoted. And she was noble for how she handled herself in that whole situation. And so he thought like she could have been with some of these younger men who were also in this field working. She could have done that, but she didn't. She was with him, who was an older man who he saw as not being that big of a prize for her, and felt like she probably had better options. But he said, I tell you what, I like that you did this, but I know someone else who is younger, who also has the ability to take care of you the way that you need and desire to be taken care of. If he is able to do this, be your guardian redeemer, that'll be fine. But if not, I'll do it. The other guy didn't, because him gaining the land that Naomi's husband, it was up for sale. And so she would come with this land. And if he had taken it, it would have messed up his estate. So he didn't want to mess up all his money and the wives he had. He had to pass. And Boaz kept his word, married her, provided for her, to take care of her, and gave her a baby. So because of this, all of this character assessing that Boaz did, he assessed that she was selfless, loyal, devoted, hardworking, honorable, and noble. So while she was deemed very beautiful, while she could have had any man she wanted, she got the one that she needed. And he chose her on who she was and how she was. Not what she looked like, what it could have been for them. He assessed her based on her character. So if we attract who we are, if we're honorable, if we're noble, we'll attract that. It'll be just who we need, when we need it, and how we need it. So I wanted to make sure that I highlighted that Ruth did the work. Who she was as a person under counsel, and she was able to take wise counsel. She didn't just think that Naomi was some old woman that didn't know what she was talking about, and she went on about her way to do whatever it is she needed to do. She did listen. She was wise in doing so. And she presented her best self. She presented her best self. Yes, Naomi told her to go lay at his feet. Make sure you smell good. Make sure you look good. Have on your best cloths. Not clothes, cloths. Back in those days. And she did do that. So what they say, when preparation meets the opportunity, that's when things come together. So she did prepare. But she also was her best self. So when we out here waiting to be seen, waiting to, get this husband, make sure we're presenting our best self at all times. From the inside out. Beauty is from the inside out. So thank you for joining me. Let me know what you think about it. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Ciao.